Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're going to be tackling episode 10 of Monogatari Off in Monster Season, continuing on our little arc here. Shinobu Mustard, I believe it's called, which is freaking me out a little bit if I'm honest. And yeah, we're pretty excited to be here doing just that. Now, I don't know if I'll release an update video at some point. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know yet. But circumstances have changed a little bit, and this week's going to be kind of tough. Therefore, this is Sunday, and I'm recording this for a video that'll be out Tuesday night. I'm going to try to knock over the episode now and come back through with a little bit of analysis after the fact. Again, I have a general plan about where we're going eventually with my new stuff that's going on, which I may talk about later. But yeah, it'll be a work in progress for a little bit, let's put it like that. But the best way to start a video is to start a video, of course, and if we pop over here to the YouTube comments, we can do just that. In particular, I thought the YouTube comments this week were quite good. I thought they were smart and pointed out things that I hadn't quite considered yet that I could keep an eye on, right? And again, it's a little bit better than normal for you guys to be talking about this stuff, if that makes any sense, considering most of you, much like me, haven't seen what comes next yet. I'm basically up to date. You guys have like a 2-episode buffer, and like I'm basically there with you. You know what I mean? So you guys theory crafting and that kind of thing isn't as spoilery to me because you guys wouldn't have any extra knowledge that I would besides the 2 episodes, which isn't anything major, I wouldn't say. Either way, we'll get on to those good points that I mentioned in these comments, starting with / here. Good old-fashioned dinner for 2. I don't know if that's an idiom used in other places, but it's definitely one in Australia that we use for that good old funny number, 69, of course. And yeah, much like what I was saying before, a lot of people have no idea what happens next, and again, are in very similar positions to me, which is nice, very nice. This BitChute thing as well, apparently, yeah, they just kind of put ads on videos sometimes. I had a quick look in the settings, where again, I don't know if you guys can see that fantastically well, maybe if I move it like that. Yeah, I thought this was a thing. I've unticked that, so I don't know. Also, what? Anyway, weird. BitChute's like a fucked website. I don't know how any of that shit works, but I have that unticked. I don't know why else something would happen there. Anyway, I digress. And yeah, on this one, you're going off a little bit early. Normally you're right / but we got another couple comments here. Starting here with Carlgo in the next comment here. The Araragi hentai whole shebang, that joke towards the end of the episode. Apparently it's just translated better if you just like leave the honorifics. Maybe it was better on the honorifics track, which I didn't have activated for that particular episode. The MTBB joke there was a little bit forced. I'm probably with you on that one. And yeah, in general here, I agree with you. This whole failed vampire thing that's going on with Deathtopia, it's just sus. The whole thing's sus. Specifically, there's a number of good points here, right? Kabuki, right? Think about all the human dudes. Human dudes? They weren't humans. Remember when they were doing like the fireworks, Shinobu and Araragi, and then they were surrounded by dudes? Those dudes kind of look like the dudes that we're duding now. You know? Question mark? There's some vampire type shit. Again, it makes me think like they won't be dead for long. They may revive themselves. Again, that whole name and Suicide Master and that kind of thing. This was the one that got me though, right? Her MO is to eat what she kills, not turn randoms into vampires left and right. So what's going on? Why would she do such a thing? Maybe she got wind of what Kishshot is now compared to what she was before. This kind of subservience to Araragi in a way, and you can get into a whole lot of fourth wall fetishistic things if you wanted to talk about that as well. I kind of see what they're getting at. Like, if you saw your glorious princess turned into fucking current day Shinobu, you'd be kind of like, I don't know if I want to live on this planet anymore. And you might start to take people out. And again, we can probably link this into this whole basketball group. Like, they're probably bad news as well. There's probably some bad shit there. I don't know if this new president of the basketball club is somewhat more involved, a little bit more. We'll see. And yeah, the last time Shinobu's ex showed up, it was a whole big thing. There was a big fight, and there was a lot of eating involved, so maybe something very similar will happen there, and it will spell the end for Deathtopia. It'd be sad for them to throw away this plotline in one arc's time, if that makes any sense. So, like, finishing like all the stuff about the setup, the Acerola Bon Appetit and all that, and then just kind of throwing it away. That would be a little bit fine. But I kind of hope she sticks around. I like Deathtopia is my point. I want her to be around. I don't want it to be like the first. The first is still shrouded in mystery, what even happened there, right? Because it's only told from one perspective, that being Shinobu's herself. And she doesn't want to reveal certain stuff. So, again, giving more perspective here, a little bit more of an outsider perspective on this kind of vampirization, the making of a vampire, that kind of thing, makes me think that she'll stick around for the long haul. And yeah, instant Meneko fan, of course, as well. That's just obvious. Whoever isn't is a bad person. And last comment here from Nailu, I want to point out something specific. Gaian is not good at codes. So, breaking a code is the process of figuring something out. Gaian just knows the answer. That's her whole thing. It's anti-work, where Araragi and, by extension, Sadachi and Meneko and all these people, right? They're pro-work. They're pro-effort, right? And that's this kind of dichotomy between Gaian and the others, right? She can just figure things out. That makes her broken. But in that other way, she's also broken. She doesn't work like everybody else. We have the novel extract here. I won't bore you by going through it bit by bit, but essentially she's pretty impressed by college students by the very end of it that they were able to figure out something like that. Yeah, every single time she shrugged her shoulders. Don't overestimate your Oni-san too much. She's not too good at this kind of stuff. It's not her bag, you know. And yeah, this was the point that I really loved. It's the reframing of Gaian now that we've graduated high school. There's kind of that passing of that precipice point into adulthood for Araragi. He now sees a little bit more vulnerability in Gaian Izuku, which is cool, right? She used to be so impenetrable. She used to be this genius that knew everything, right? Now I'm an adult as well. I realize that they don't know everything, and I'm not putting her on this pedestal anymore. I see her more for the person that she is. It's really fun when the kind of POV character changes and you see how certain characters are reframed. I've talked to this a lot more about when we're in a female character's point of view, there's less overall ecchi stuff in the show, I would argue. But yeah, this kind of focus on adults as well, where, again, we see Kaiki back in the day, right, when Kaiki's kind of doing Kaiki stuff and he seems really impenetrable and really annoying and blah, 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 and he's actually got all this baggage with Senjukahara as well. Seems very impenetrable. But then when we're in his perspective, we see where his flaws may lie. Even when we're in a different perspective as well, we see his vulnerability when we talk to him with Kanbaru in Hana Monogatari, right? I just like how certain different characters show off different sides of people. Not one person is kind of one-dimensional, you know? Everybody's got different sides. And yeah, this is probably correct. I kind of went out on a lot of limbs last episode, which I think that's fun for you guys as well, me just kind of doing crack theories and so forth. Gaian recognizing the name Deathtopia Virtuoso Suicide Master isn't exactly like a big jump. She's kind of a specialist. She would know about dangerous vampires and that kind of thing. It's kind of her job, so again, being able to figure that out and put it all together there doesn't mean that she has some kind of prior connection, I would say. But either way, that's the YouTube comments for this week. I really enjoyed them. Keep commenting and stuff. You can comment if you're a Patreon, and I'll get up that list to shout out now. So yeah, have a Patreon. If you wanted to be 1 week ahead, of course, you could access that Patreon at your leisure and pay me money for the next week's episode. And all the other series on the channel for a month. It's your prerogative to do so if you want to. People have done this up to and including Mickey Babbers, Trials++, Bobbin, Chobo Ribby, Domobot, Ichu, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Fleur Nightingale, Fried Rice, Fruit, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Greybeard, Gus N, Heath, Ika, Yanko Yavanen, Joran, Kelvin, Kimskell, Clem, Nosta, Cot Begemot, Lou, Mistake El Chen, Nailu, Parnek, Pencil Sharp 333, Ron Lad BNK, Saint Lily, Sal, Sam1373, Skeleton, Voiko, Without a Net, Zan Echo, Yuki Ali, Zach, Binchy, Hans Peter, Marsh, Voodoo Chili, Aidan O'Brien, and Funny Fat Guy. Thank you to all those people for giving me money. Now, where we jumped off from, of course, we're in this new arc, Shinobu Mustard. No Shinobu spotted yet. Again, Shinobu was definitely asleep. That's something that I've realized from last week as well. That's why she didn't react to that information. So, cool. Deathtopia Virtuoso Suicide Master is in town. She is implied to be slowly vampirizationing girls from the basketball club up to 5. We were knowledgeable about 3, but it's actually 5. So yeah, that's kind of where we're jumping off from. We've got Higasa and Kanbaru in the room with Araragi, and we're going to continue to explain who's actually missing here and what the connections may be. Gaian Izuku is involved as well, because there's this new presence in town that may throw off the balance and all that stuff that she normally worries herself with. We've got Meneko, who's a new character that Araragi was talking with very early, a new friend he's made in college, so shoutouts to that as well. Maybe she'll return at later portions of this arc as well. It's yet to be seen. And yeah, I guess what we're mainly looking out for is what Shinobu thinks about all this. Again, her name's on the box. She's probably going to be important here at some point. She's probably going to react to some information, that kind of vibe. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen this episode, and again, that's kind of exciting. So yeah, Patreon, as I said before, if you wanted to be that 1 week ahead, Discord, if you wanted to talk to me about the show, like the video, subscribe, all that stuff, and yeah, we're jumping into episode 10 of Off and Monster Season of Monogatari right now. Rightio, I've got this frankly uncomfortable image back on screen again, if we want to look at it once again. I just hate the look of this. It just looks like poo. I don't want to look at poo on a plate. That sounds bad. But either way, there's 23 minutes and 35 seconds on this one, and I should explain something important that I didn't explain before. This is the subs please version. It is very different from the MTBB version, which I have been using. MTBB isn't out. I need to record today. Therefore, we have to use subs please. Again, this is what is available on every other streaming network, most places where you would be getting this episode. But again, picture-in-picture is in the description below if you just don't want to worry about any of that stuff. So yeah, let me give it a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, straight back into the conversation. 100 members on the roster. 5 have gone missing. What's this music? I really like that too. That too. How would you not hear about 5 students going missing? Brick. Yeah, I definitely got that vibe. She was the star. Have you guys talked about this? This seems like big stuff. Okay, you kind of held it apart. Or held it together, I should say. Yeah, it's... Just quit, lol. Oh. Look at that gossip spreading. Got to dig a little bit deeper. Look at that throne as well. I love that. It sounds like a tough situation, I'm going to be honest. Yeah, not able to change with the times. Fun things are fun. I don't know about all that. Bro's holding 2 basketballs. Oh, the other 2 that are missing. Get your mind out of the gutter. Very responsible. Very not Araragi hentai. Okay. You seemed responsible enough. Yes. Yes, I do. Her name is Her name is Shinobu. Her name is Sendra Gahara, and she will beat your ass. Okay. Yeah, that kind of blood coming through. Yeah, that's kind of the show. Weird. Yeah, true. Yeah, let's get a little bit more to the actual stuff here. We're very focused on names, which I'm interested in. Yeah, I thought it was a calling card. Good point. If it was a calling card, it would be on all of them. Yeah, exactly. No codes. No codes. That's really cool looking too. Handwriting analysis. She's got that shit on though. Okay. Like I'm a calculator or something. Input commands. What? Suppress. Uh. Uh. I thought she was chained up. Okay, no, we're good. Yeah, that's very good. uh. Yeah, the chain is metaphorically there though. This feels like a bribe. Golden gay time flavor. Like a fang, you say. Well, your parents don't exist. Ah. Text on screen. I can try. Oh my god. Keep her distracted for 7 whole hours. Whatever will we do? You say. Briefly. Oh, princess. This is very college student, just fucking staying up for no reason. Definitely been there. Stop cacaing me. Okay, insane law. That's pretty funny. Yeah, isn't that literally from Kabuki? Yeah, look at that. How cool. I had. Thank you, YouTube comments. Interesting. Oh, look at that picture. It's that last picture. I like that picture. Look at all these Kizu freaks. I'm waiting. What an interesting question, Araragi. Wheeling out the same line twice. That's her. Okay, so you do remember her. And then Araragi's gonna freak out. Because he's like, oh shit. Because now he should put everything together. I've seen the story, Araragi. I can actually fill in the void there. Yeah, that's a very interesting thing to say. The true vampire. Aren't they immortal? She always fucking ate everybody. Yep, that was the whole thing. Oh, extra law? Yeah, are you not telling... Anyway, whatever. Stop, boo. Who the fuck? Oh, what? Who the hell knocked on your door then? Oh! Yes, the goat is here. Freerin. Finally. Araragi's back on his bullshit. Let's go. It's just like old times. I don't know, she's just freaky. She can do shit like that. uh, Tsukihi doing Tsukihi stuff. No, please distract me from whatever Shinobu was talking about. What an odd thing to say. But yeah, you're correct. Medium fortune? Might have been for work. Where'd you guys get all this stuff? Okay. Midnight Cruise? Weren't you guys supposed to stay on Lock and Keep so you didn't see Deathtopia? Why is he throwing? Oh no, this is fantastic. She's locked the fuck in. Yeah, you're where you normally are. This isn't secret training. I wouldn't say that. She's fucking Goku? Oh yeah, this was in last episode too, these reintroductions. What? It's not my name. I know you guys are doing the bit, but this is just getting ridiculous at this point. Just dapped her up. Oh. Everyone's doing the bit. How does she keep coming up with new ones? She's insane. This stinks of what I think it stinks of, but we'll say. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where is she? Yeah, thought that might happen. She's pretty fucking thin. Thoughts, Shinobu? Anything? Nothing? Yeah, there you go. Araragi, you had one job, buddy. I didn't strip her. uh, well, you know how it works with vampires, right? But yeah, what has happened to her? Cryptobiosis? Invest in Biosis coin? Okay, I mean, we're helping her out. From the hospital, or just steal? What? What do you mean by the other day? Yeah, okay, that's. I thought you were talking about that. So we're going back into Mayoi Hell? Chat room, I'm gonna say this is a bad idea. Die, Araragi, die. Wait, do you put it in a booster seat? That's hilarious. Oh. She's cool. My lifestyle is the same as my death style? This is sick, by the way. This is some fucking Katanagatari shit. Yeah, the background, definitely. Yeah, loving it. I have to go to hell. Epic. Yeah, I thought we were getting close to the end there. What? Yeah, that's probably what this is about in the ending as well. Those armor-looking motherfuckers. That's not where I thought this would go. One thing I wanted to note immediately, which I think is really fun, is that, again, Ononoki comes into the room and essentially gives us the idea to go see Hachikuji, right? That is tangentially related to the Vortex of Chaos herself in Tsukihi. So yeah, she's tangentially touched something, and you can almost read into that, like pulling a rug into another tale. But what seems to be happening here is that I thought Deathtopia was, yeah, again, responsible for what's going on. Doesn't seem to be the case if Deathtopia is now another victim. And as soon as we can res Deathtopia, maybe we can work some shit out. Or at least Shinobu and Deathtopia can talk it out a little bit. And yeah, from what I was spying there, we have another minute left. Little post-credit something. We'll see. Yeah, thought we might. We're back in Mayoi Hell. Oh, it looks quite nice. Idyllic, one may say. Definitely different from where we were last time. I wouldn't be so sure. What's in heaven for you? What was that? Legs. Ah. Finally, woman. Yeah, you can call me Acerola, yeah. So wait, I'm actually in heaven? Araragi wouldn't go to heaven. I've seen what he's done before. That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. What? Anyway, we'll figure it out. Yeah, showing up with an Oni mask is Princess Acerola right there at the very end. Very naked. Very cool. This was Monogatari back on its bullshit this episode. We had a lot of questionable stuff. And again, it's almost nostalgic now. Again, I'll return tomorrow and talk about this a little bit more, if not the next day. And yeah, that was an interesting episode. Definitely went in a completely different direction than what I thought it was going to go in. So, yeah. And reintroducing a bunch of characters again. Sounds pretty cool. Again, I'll see you tomorrow for a little bit of analysis. And we're back. That was episode 10 of the show. Episode 2 of Shinobu Mustard. Shinobu finally appeared, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Again, it's going at the 11th hour here. We go in a direction I did not expect us to go. Also, fully a Katana Gatari reference, by the way, which is fucking awesome. Yeah, rewatching that scene, I definitely got it on the second time through. And then all this stuff. Naked woman? Oh my god. No, it just wasn't really the direction I thought we would go here. Aragi's dead again, but he went to heaven instead of hell this time? Apparently. Just odd. I did not expect this arc to go in this direction at all. Again, I thought this was going to be a pretty rote Deathtopia using basketball club, blah blah blah, Shinobu's the goal, blah blah blah, they've got beef for some reason type story. Not really at all, which, again, fully surprised me. I didn't think we were going here. I really didn't. I thought, again, just when I think I've got a grip on what Monogatari is and what it's going for and all those other things, it just really, really surprises me. And it's nice that it's able to do that even after all this time. What even episode is this now? Like, it'd have to be nearing 100, right? It's well past 50, I can give you that right now. There's a lot of episodes of Monogatari, man. So if it can still surprise me now, it's doing something right. Either way, the subs please version was kind of bad, but we're still going to have to do it. Just full disclosure, it's 7:30 right now. I just did like an 11-hour shift. It was pretty bad. So again, we're just going to try to knock this out right now. Just get out of this week, and then I can kind of explain a little bit more later on what I'm going to try to do, even, I guess. Anyway, onwards with the show. We start here with I would call it a tonal shift. It's definitely mostly controlled by the music, I would say. Shit gets pretty serious here. It gets serious really quickly and really dire and dramatic. I really, again, love the soundtrack here. Reminds me of Sigur Rós. If I'm even saying that right. It's the Icelandic band. I really like their music, and the soundtrack here kind of reminded me of it in spots, so shoutouts to that. Just this kind of really haunting vocal track in the background that I really did enjoy. So again, this is really continuing what we learnt at the end of last episode, really, that there's 2 additional students to the 3 that we already knew about that have gone missing, right? If 3 have gone missing based on one vampire thing, then probably the other 2 did as well, right? It's a real jump in stakes, I would say. Not just the 2 additional people, but this had been happening under our noses and we didn't know it up until now. That's a little bit more of the scary part. Again, who's to say that tonight another girl couldn't go, and then another one, and then another one, and then, that's terrible, especially in the kind of company of 2 basketball club alum as well. This is definitely true. We saw this last week. Again, this was explained previous in the show, I believe, as well. Kanbaru was the star of the show here. She was the main reason why the club was even popular in the first place. It's for Kanbaru fans. If you're a Kanbaru fan, you're in the club. What we say here is that after Kanbaru did Kanbaru stuff and wasn't in the basketball club anymore, the framework still remained. It was whoever was at the top was in control, I would say. Which, again, I really want to meet who's the captain of the basketball team at the moment. I think that they may have some questions to be answered, I would say. Again, Higasa, when she was in the role, did everything to not make this the case, but couldn't fight against it, right? She couldn't break it. A lot of text on screen through this section, not very well translated, I don't think, by whatever is airing on streaming at the moment. I'd imagine it's an Aniplex thing. I don't know who writes the subs though. But we get some lines here. Unavoidable peer pressure, not solidarity, but collective responsibility. Basically, the club got really intense. It can't help but seem kind of naive when Kanbaro comes out here and says that sport, you should just quit if you don't like it. You know, if it's painful, just quit. Well, you can't. There's a ton of peer pressure there and a ton of expectation based on what the culture of the club is. If you quit, you become a pariah to 100 people at that school. You know what I mean? It's no accident that she's literally sitting on her high horse up here, like she's in the... she has a position of power within this dynamic, right? She is the one at the very top. Therefore, it's easy for her to say, just quit, when she just quit, but other girls can't quit because they don't have that similar level of social status and clout, right? You're a main character, they're side characters, and you don't understand that. Again, not judging Kanbaro too harshly here, because, you know, she's just saying what's on her mind, but she just doesn't consider these things, I don't think. One thing here that kind of pricks the ears up is that, like, nobody's quit, but they've quit from being injured during practice. So again, super intense sessions, but maybe that is one way out, getting injured. In that way, isn't kind of turning into a mummy in this whole kind of situation, kind of getting injured and quitting based on that? At least a little bit. Higasa describes a situation where she's got together all the important people associated with the club and kind of started discussing things. However, that's when it started, right? Just people who stopped showing up to school. So again, who was in this meeting? Is that something that we need to look into maybe? And then the whole thing turned a little bit bratty, a little bit toxic. You know, a bunch of teenage girls in a club type stuff, I would say. Just, yeah, very bitchy. Again, that's what happens when you have this complex in the club of one person at the top, you know? Again, I think that's what we're getting at. I believe so. I could be wrong, though. And yeah, it's hard for Higasa and Kanbaro to challenge said structure because they participated in said structure in the past, right? They don't know how to break it. This is almost the only thing that they do know. What they're doing is the same thing that we were doing. The only difference is how they feel about it. No, maybe we were in the wrong after all. And then the translation here gets a little bit... I think essentially what they're trying to say is that, well, it worked for us, so it'll work for everybody. It kind of screams of a coach that uses really intense methods but gets results and says, hey, look at the results though. We got results with this, so it's fine. It'll work in every situation. People won't crumble under me. It's just, you know, it's just on the process to victory. That's all the kind of justifying all the stuff that they're doing. Which again, hey, great if it works out for you guys, but using that same kind of philosophy in the club right now has literally led to 5 students going missing. So yeah, again, maybe you guys were in the wrong. Again, mainly based on the 2 girls, they're emphasizing fun here. That's the major thing, right? I don't think the club is emphasizing the fun factor anymore. It's way more intense. And I like the visual metaphor here as well. We have both Higasa and Kanbaro here passing 2 basketballs, each of the basketballs here representing the extra student that you learned that has now been missing or presumably vampirized, you'd believe as well, right? You've put this on my head. You've put this weight onto me, you know, even if you don't know it. And again, just as we were getting worried about this, Araragi Hentai shows up and saves the day, essentially. And then Araragi does Araragi stuff. If you lend me the roster there, I can promise I'll do everything in my power to assist the current situation. And again, I think Higasa has the hots for you, so that's going to work regardless. You putting on the whole protagonist stuff. She likes you, I think. Again, entirely predicated on asking if he has a girlfriend, which we don't really elaborate on. He most certainly does have a girlfriend, and an intense one at that, so I wouldn't go in on that territory at all, Higasa. I'm sure Kanbaro can fill you in on how intense Senjukahara is. We return to the hospital. Guyan Izuko is here, and she does a very Guyan thing by literally explaining the situation in like 1 sentence. So essentially, there's a bunch of kids that are worried about their academic situation and don't want to continue to practice in a basketball club that's, you know, not even got the girl that I like in it anymore. Doesn't even have my senpai that I really admired in it. So why am I even showing up? Why am I doing this? But again, there's this culture of you can't leave. There's this culture of you have to work hard, all this stuff, right? So it's really weighing these kids down, and that mismatch there is what's drawing this vampire's attention. Again, according to you right now. Based on the events of the rest of the episode, is Deathtopia the mastermind here? You would argue no, considering she's been mummified as well? I think that was the idea. Oh, weird. Yeah, we do a bunch of kind of weird stuff through here. Like we say, oh yeah, Kambaro had to be a superstar. That was kind of her upbringing. Huh, does that imply some things about Guy and Toy? I think maybe. And again, that kind of initial stuff there. How long did Kambaro know her mother for before she passed away? I'm sure we know that from somewhere else in the story, but there would have been some influence there. Again, this representation of the rainy devil, even if not literally, has always been closely associated with that relationship with the mother and the mending there and that kind of thing, right? That's been the metaphor at play. So yeah, that's what caused her to become a good runner. That's what caused her to gain this power, is her in this situation where she had to. Isn't that the same thing as what the club's doing right now? But again, that's that same theory of rules for one, not for the rest. You know, just because it worked here doesn't mean it'll work with all these other kids as well. And yeah, even though she's gotten rid of the monkey's paw now, it doesn't mean that she's immune to all the, you know, horrific scenes of being a high schooler, I guess, being annoyed by her kohai, something which Guy and Izuku here can relate to. I love the background here and showing the various kohai that were surely very annoying for you in, I believe it was university that you guys met. Either way, the next priority should be finding these two alleged missing victims, the extra two there. We get some names, but I'm not sure it's entirely relevant. And then Araragi gets to talking about this calling card that was left by Deathtopia. The argument here against it being a calling card is it isn't at every body, so that's literally what a calling card is. It's at every body, so like, what are we doing here? Araragi argues that the case of the one we found in the shack, right, the one where we found the calling card, they were out in the, you know, boonies. It was easier to write a calling card and leave it. The vampire could take their time and actually write what they wanted to write. And again, we ran some handwriting analysis and it doesn't match with anybody that we've seen thus far. So it can't be one of the girls that was dead already, right? One of the victims. It needs to be a third party there. Doesn't mean it's Deathtopia though. I want to keep an eye on that. Either way, you already know who the vampire is, and because of that, you're going to tell Araragi to input some commands into himself. This is what your job is tonight. Make sure Shinobu doesn't fuck this shit up. Make sure she doesn't get involved, basically. Yeah, you have to go and suppress Shinobu, because I'm going to go investigate some things. I've got the few ideas about this calling card and where the victims may be. What we don't want is another vampire here getting involved. Again, does Guyan already kind of know this connection between the two? Potentially. Or, again, it's probably just a good idea not to have two vampires in the same room. Again, like half vampire, it's always been weird. The first image we see off of that chapter break there is this chain. We're literally trying to chain Shinobu down. That's the whole kind of idea here. I like Araragi sitting on the edge of the bed like this as well, very, very nervous, not acting like himself, and it's like, you're hiding something. Oh, what gave it away? Just entirely stiff and entirely unnatural. Of course she noticed. Like, what are you talking about? I would argue that this kind of second half of the episode in a lot of ways is a return to good old-fashioned Monogatari. Araragi Monogatari, I would say. A lot of jokes, a lot of words flying everywhere, word soup, words folding on other words, and a lot of sarcasm and a lot of kind of puns and a lot of like word jokes. It's that kind of vibe, you know? Shinobu here remains intensely suspicious. Why'd you get me donuts? Why aren't you telling me anything about this? He's just acting unnatural. I like this this cat Araragi here as well. Just cursed. And the shadow there is definitely his true intentions here, I would say. Again, hiding something from someone who's literally your alter ego must be pretty difficult. I'm sympathetic for Araragi's cause here. And then Shinobu's kind of dumb. We have like a super mega donut and she just kind of forgets about all the suspicion. So she's easy. She likes food. I do like this whole vibe to this whole thing. It's very college student, just kind of staying up all night because why not? Because I can. I don't really have any responsibilities the next day. Well, again, this is his responsibility to keep her kind of down here, but yeah, kind of making up this fun story for yourself for why you're staying up and literally just sitting. This is where Araragi kind of throws. He starts to ask questions. In doing so, he takes himself all the way back to spring break and wants to ask some questions about what even went on there with the whole vampirization stuff. Like, why am I like me and not like the rest of the girls that got bit, right? And again, using this kind of fake scene that didn't really happen along with it. In this way, you can almost like frame Araragi as the prince to the beautiful princess over here as well, if you wanted to be that specific about it. It's definitely very romantic, very extra, I would say. Lots of flowers, even shoujo inspired if you wanted to be that much of a dork about it. Again, more to the point, if my vampirization had failed, what would have happened? So yeah, I'm happy that YouTube comment at the start of the video mentioned this, because it kept it fresh in the mind. Yeah, much like Kabuki Monogatari, that's what would have happened to Araragi if he had failed the vampirization, right? Like literally breaking the fourth wall here by playing footage on a TV. Hey, don't you remember this? Like literally Shinobu looking into the camera and saying, hey audience, it's literally like this. Pretty clever. I think that's cute. Araragi from this implies that Shinobu in the Kabuki Monogatari timeline, where everything happened that went on there, was reckless. It was the speed in which it happened and the lack of thought and care which made all the people end up like they did. There was no objective nor motive to what was happening, as opposed to what happened with Araragi in Kizumonogatari. Araragi argues here that maybe the vampire in question is acting recklessly now. Now, so maybe? Kind of, but she's not feeding on any of them, right? That's why she's kind of like whittling away. What else could be happening, though? It feels like somebody's almost using Deathtopia. No? Kind of. Again, I'm just trying to think of the basketball club and whoever's involved there. Whoever's at the top is probably bad news. What should end up being like Orgy or something equally stupid? Like some stupid garbage like that. Araragi gets to pontificating about all the different vampires he's met, right? Going through a ton of different characters here. What was this guy's name? He's like Dramaturgy. I thought that said Dormitory. Yeah, yo. Again, he can only count the amount of vampires he's ever met on one hand, right? Good old Seishiro as well. I always forget the name there. But he's forgetting about one vampire, right? The one that's connected to Mei. Who made Shinobu into a vampire? I know that she used to be a human, like literally from Zoku Owari, as well as I think she just told us. So who turned you into a vampire? And I never really thought about it. It's literally like bloodlines down to Araragi. Like Deathtopia is the start of even the entire Araragi story here. So yeah, as soon as Shinobu says the name Deathtopia Virtuoso Suicide Master, Araragi now understands why Guyan told him to do what she told him to do, right? Like, they have a connection. These two meeting would pretty obviously be bad. To make it equally direct here, Shinobu says that she hadn't thought about this until, like, this year as well, until she met Araragi and that whole I used to be a human type motif. So again, it's pretty obviously you relate the stuff from last arc to the rest of the show. That's what you're meant to do. That's what that line signifies. I also like this visual moment here where you have the two birds here flying in front of the moon, much like the two vampires flying in the moonlight from the end of last arc. I do like suspicious Araragi frame here, like right here. I bet she's crumbled into dust by now because she was a true vampire. Aragi's like, oh shit, she doesn't know. What Shinobu brings up here is that, unlike Shinobu herself, Deathtopia is like a picky eater, essentially. That was, again, the whole premise of last arc. She really wanted that first meal after she awoke from her death to be acerola. Giving that up and making that instead be tropical-esque carried that meaning with it, of course. But again, it's meant to bring this up now because what she's doing in this arc, or at least purported to be doing, doesn't make much sense. It doesn't match this ethos. She puts significance into her kills and wants it to be grandiose. Why would she be picking off random high school girls? A fun reversal of the joke here from before as well, again implying a romantic relationship between the two as well. I just think it's all very cute. Very fun Monogatari, very good joke. And yeah, the kind of director Araragi here into like that same fourth wall joke again. Very smart. This is a smart show. It's very well directed and it's quite funny. It's humorous. And then Araragi realized he fucked up and Shinobu starts to ask more and more questions about Suicide Master and it's like, oh shit, she's in too deep. She's going to want to know shit now. And just in the nick of time, there's a knock at the door. We see those traffic lights switch over to red. Stop this conversation, slam on the brakes, and let's talk to our good friend Yotsugi for a bit. Ononoki Yotsugi. There she is, looking ridiculous as normal. I do wonder if this indicates timeline somewhat. She doesn't have that look that she had during the first arc of this season, so don't know. I don't know when this is in the timeline. I don't know if I'll ever know. And yeah, because again, Yotsugi's offbeat and stuff, she knocked at the door and then appeared at the window. I don't know what that's about. And again, Araragi's taking this opportunity to focus the conversation entirely on Ononoki. I don't want Shinobu to get further involved here. I brought it up before. because I want two arcs to be going on simultaneously again. I think that's always very, very fun and looking for the connective points between the two, right? I think the implication here is that this is part of the Tsukihi mission. So this is before all the Nadeko stuff, I would argue. I would say, maybe. Maybe this is happening around generally the same time as Tsukihi Undo. Maybe. Either way, Yotsugi's here because Tsukihi's in the other room, like, she's still like cognizant, so I can't like walk in there because again she thinks I'm a doll. But just in the nick of time we get handed a fortune, and that fortune is from North Shirahebi Shrine. Therefore that's where Hachikuji is, and gives us the kind of go ahead to pursue that now. It makes us go towards that direction. Now again, Tsukihi was mentioned. I'm going to involve this in the whole Vortex of Chaos discussion. Again, if Tsukihi wasn't studying, Yotsugi would already be in that room and wouldn't have given off this fortune, right? So does that kind of... You see what I mean, though, right? Like, if that didn't happen, then the night would have passed fine and Araragi wouldn't have died again. I just think that's neat. I think that's cute. I think that's funny. Monogatari being Monogatari here with this Twister reference as well. And we got a fair fortune out of it. It just means... I don't know how these things are going, you know? And yeah, Yotsugi kind of justifying her time with Hachikuji, saying that she's actually a pretty important force in the town now. It's not just us playing around. Yeah, again, these characters have been largely linked, that being Shinobu, Yotsugi, and Hachikuji. Remember, of course, I'm going to struggle with the name of the arc. It was something, Shinobu something. It's the one where the darkness was chasing them, and it's kind of the lolly squad is like chilling together. Anyway, they've had associations in the past, so these characters are on good terms. Either way, Araragi thinks that's a good idea. We bring back this whole car motif. I'm going to put Yotsugi kind of chained into this room. You just chill in here, right? We're going to go off and we're going to see Hachikuji and see what's going on. Yeah, it's only mentioned briefly here, but this is where we mentioned the booster seat as well. That's where Shinobu is currently in, and again, good joke. Comes back at the end of the episode and kind of as a justification for her killing him. Again, Monogatari's got gags. I think this is pretty good. We have like the singular cloud up here dropping the rainwater on you. You're focusing. You're meant to look like intimidating and important and stuff. You're training hard. And again, just kind of the blank faces on the other side here really sells the joke. Very funny. Very, very good. You seem to have caught me during my secret training. My secret training, which is like well lit with like stage direction and stuff. Yeah, look at this. Look at the spotlights there. Not particularly well hidden. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I understand the whole Kamimashita bit any more than I used to. I still don't. I just think it's funny. I'm just going to smile and laugh when it comes on now, because I just think that it's a cute reference that we keep doing between these two characters. Again, the whole forgetting the name, and then the flubbing, and then the... Again, I said I wasn't going to go through it. I'm not going to go through it. Oh yeah, Nobushi versus Shinobu. That's pretty funny. I liked that. Okay, I'm getting it. I'm cool. And yeah, just as, again, Shinobu's that other side to Araragi, they get to do the game as well, right? You know, it's like Araragi getting to do the game 2 times with Hachikuji here. Very cute. So I think the implication here is that fortune that Yotsugi had was a hidden message telling them to come to the mountain right now, if that makes any sense, right? Like, that was the hidden message there. I think there was some text on screen to that effect there before. Yeah, I want to introduce you to this young girl. From this exact moment, I knew who we were talking about. This is how Deathtopia and Shinobu meet. Specifically, Shinobu is the one that we want the character to meet. The lost girl who wants to meet with Shinobu. And yeah, there we go. Hey, look, it's Deathtopia, everybody. Very, very skinny Deathtopia. And yeah, just like that, I'm kind of seeing Suicide Master. I'm off of Araragi a little bit as well. Yeah, Shinobu very surprised to see Suicide Master in this state, of course. We can kind of see it here. Very, very much like the mummified girls. Like very, very thin, very skinny, stiff, mummified, you know? And Hachikuji implies that she wasn't like this before. She wasn't this like gaunt and skinny and small and stuff, and she definitely wasn't mummified. So something has happened over the course of these two characters interacting, that being Hachikuji and Suicide Master, to make things this way. And again, this is where Shinobu starts to get super serious and super interested. What we see here is it isn't analogous to what we were talking about before with a failed vampirization. What Shinobu says here is it's like cryptobiosis. Not a living corpse, but more like in critical condition. Again, I would love to see this translated. but it is not in subs, please. Thank you, MTBB, for doing a good job with this stuff generally otherwise. Either way, Hachikuji called for us because she didn't know what to do. Again, bring in the 2 vampire dudes to deal with the vampire thing. That sounds like a good idea. In that way, you're kind of like a mini Gaian. That's kind of funny. I like that connection. And Hachikuji already has a plan. I want you to procure some medicine to cure her. The medicine in question can't be procured from anywhere nearby, but instead not of this world. The afterlife, as you're aware. I like this face here. Again, a small token, but it makes me appreciate Mayoi Hell and all the stuff that Araragi did for Hachikuji during that arc, and really shows that she appreciates it, right? It literally saved her from dying and being in purgatory and stuff and made her a god. Seems pretty good, seems pretty based. Thank you, Araragi. So what we need to do here is go to Blood Pond Hell, right? Go to the afterlife once again and collect something and bring it back. Now again, that is hell. Where we end up by the very end of the episode is heaven. So how does that work? Again, it's this Monogatari opposite stuff, which you want to talk about. You can talk about it, sure. But I'm just more perplexed as to how we even help Deathtopia now. Again, I'm sure that the beautiful princess in heaven, literally in heaven, has something to do with it. Like, she has something to help. That would, considering the connection between Deathtopia and the beautiful princess. And yeah, after all this is said and done, I also want to know what order this is in the novel. Like, what the way we described it, this seems to be like a way more legible order than normal, right? So like, would you need to like keep all this shit in your head as you continue reading? That's kind of mental. Imagine having to remember all this shit. Anyway, we're quickly pursuing that plot with vigor. Shinobu is given the sword. Well, she kind of creates the sword again. Heartspan, of course. Kokoro Watari is the translation here, which I really like. The power that kills apparitions. So again, very similar to what Guy and Izuko did when she killed Araragi that one time as well. That kind of sent him to hell the first time. Now Shinobu's got it in her hands and she's going to do that once again. Of course, the stakes aren't quite there as they were last time. Last time was kind of a little bit more intense and a little bit more build up to it, but this still works all the same. I like the kind of undercut joke they go with here as well. Shinobu sees this as almost revenge for everything that Araragi's put her through, right? There's reasons why the two may have some small beef, and she can kind of play that up here as she kills him. Specifically here, disgracing me by making me sit in a booster seat. And yeah, she goes full psycho here. Why aren't you laughing like normal? Because I'm relishing this opportunity. So again, I'm gonna nerd out here because I've seen Katanagatari on the channel. You should watch that series. I think that show holds up, and I think the videos on it are really good and stuff. But yeah, so 7 ultimate techniques. The whole thing with Katanagatari is that the main character, Shichika Hachiretsu, of course, that 8 Hachi in that name, he's the 8th generation head of the Yasuri clan. Now, the 7 number here is very important in that regard as well. I think his technique has 8 steps to it or something, and the 7 here kind of mirrors that. Or maybe it's 7. Again, it's a little bit hazy. It was a while ago. But I'm seeing what they're doing here is my point. Specifically here, a lot of the backgrounds invoke Katanagatari in my mind. Again, along with the elaborate saying of the techniques and that kind of thing. Yeah, even, okay, so that was 7 there, right? Ultimate Technique 7, and then we go for the 8th. Now this is resonating a little bit more. Life-death style, of course. And then the line here that ties the reference all together as well. The final ultimate technique of life-death style, where all 7 ultimate techniques are unleashed at once. You literally say Shichika Hachiretsu here. So yeah, that's what ends the episode there. So yeah, really fun Katanagatari reference to kind of close us out. Of course, that doesn't close us out though, because there's still more show. So yeah, Araragi wakes up expecting to be in hell. This is obviously very different from the opening scene of Mayoi Hell, which is way more large in scope and kind of scary and stuff. It's a pretty effective opening to that Owari Monogatari 2nd season. And yeah, I thought this was a joke, but it's literally correct. I think he's literally in heaven now, maybe? And Araragi takes this as a vote of confidence. Maybe I'm a good guy now. Again, when I died before and went to hell, it was like, it's because I'm a bad guy. Maybe I've changed my ways. Maybe you know, whoever judges these kind of things is judging me a little bit better now. And then there's a mysterious voice in the distance, a mysterious long set of legs. That is exactly correct. You are not as evil of a human as you may think you are. Pardon me for being in such a guise, Lord Araragi. It's literally beautiful princess, she's here. So again, she's got that same glow that she did in Zoko Owari, as well as obviously in the stuff we just saw. But Zoko Owari is where Araragi would realize or recognize her from, excuse me. So there are many people that call me by that name, but please here in heaven call me Princess Acerola. So these two characters get to talk. Kind of justifies why we did that whole arc there before and the whole kind of exploration of Acerola as a character, because she's going to continue to be a thing. So again, well, what is my major theory here behind why is this occurring? I don't know anything. But I think it thematically makes sense. Just this kind of the other side of Shinobu again, talking with us and being part of the solution ultimately to fixing Deathtopia and saving her again here in the current day. Again, there's significance to that for sure in you being able to save people after the whole curse blessing situation from before, even in the afterlife, right? Because again, the implication here would be that Princess Acerola died, right, in the process of creating Heart Under Blade. The good part of Shinobu died, the good part, but it's still with the right reasons, all that fun Monogatariism stuff that I continue to talk about. Specifically wearing the Oni mask as well, kind of hiding her face, doesn't want to be seen, again, is ultimately scared of the same thing happening again, Araragi wanting to commit suicide in her presence. But on that other hand, she's completely naked, so she mustn't be that kind of concerned about the whole caper, I wouldn't say. Anyway, intriguing. I want to see where this goes, and I think I'll be able to, again, jump off of this more when I have a little bit more context and we have a bit more of a conversation here. But yeah, this is very, very interesting. Also, again, I didn't talk about the background, but I think it's quite nice. Again, idyllic, very heaven-like, I would say. But yeah, I'm very tired, so I'm going to call it here. Yeah, episode good. Episodes good? I only watched one episode. Episode good. Show continues to be good, obviously. I really like that Katana Gatari reference at the end there. I thought that was quite neat. And yeah, I'm excited to see where the show goes next, obviously, as well. Yeah, I'll return next week for a little bit more, but maybe a little bit different. We'll talk about it, maybe. We'll see. Either way, thanks for watching and stuff. Patreon if you want to be that 1 week ahead. Discord, like the video, subscribe. Discord, just because I wanted to throw that in there. And yeah, I'll catch you later. Even this one's thematically relevant. Cheerio. Bye-bye. See you later.